What is the name of your institute, Manoram Prabhu?
See, National Rice Research Institute, NRRI Cuttack, Prabhu.
Okay, you are in an Cuttack. So from your department, we have one student. She is also doing MTech. Welcome. How about yourself? Don't sit on the floor because it is cold. Please, you can, move a little ahead. Move a little ahead. There is no electric current here. Maybe some spiritual spark you will receive, but don't worry. It is welcoming. Come ahead. Sit here in the center. If someone else comes, he can also sit. No, sit here. Otherwise, you sit here. Yeah. About yourself? Animita. Anil. Annie. Annie Vishwan. Okay. So what course you are pursuing here? Post-harvest management. MSc first year. And which state you come from? Okay. Odisha. Lord Jagannath state. Huh? You? Little louder, please. Okay. Okay. You're from? From West Bengal. Okay. Okay. And what course you are pursuing here? Agricultural engineering. Okay. Welcome. I know you. Yeah, you have been coming, but still you can introduce yourself. You, MSc microbiology. You are in this department. Okay. So both of you are in microbiology. Next to you, Leela. Yeah. Okay. And you come from which state? Andhra. And then next we have Ankit. अब बताइए अपने बारे में. Your name, your course, and which state you belong to. So you are doing computer science.
Community science.
Community science or computer science?
Community.
Community science. In agriculture, what is community science? Huh?
Social science.
Social science. So how is it related to agriculture?
The part of agricultural extension.
Extension. How to build a farmers community, something like that? Huh? Sure. Or cooperatives? Right. India, in agriculture part, there is a lot of role of cooperatives. Achha. Okay, welcome everyone. We're very happy to have you here. And in this 1 hour, we will try to utilize this time to gain knowledge which is not available anywhere else. This knowledge that we will discuss will definitely benefit us in our even normal course of living. And it will give us the ability, the intelligence to make proper decisions in life. Because as we see that the technology is becoming more integral in our part. Our intelligence is becoming less and less. I remember very well when I was 8 to 10 years old, I would have memorized at least 15, 20 telephone numbers. Because at that time there were no mobile. I remember my house number 0542 00. But if I ask you what is your father's mobile number, will you be able to tell me? Only 1 or 2 numbers. Can you tell me 10 numbers? Any one of you? 10 mobile numbers? No. Why? The technology is depleting our intelligence. And with intelligence, it is also depleting our decision-making ability, our discrimination. Discrimination intelligence means the function of intelligence is to be able to discern what is right and what is wrong, what is dharma and what is adharma, what is duty and what is irresponsibility. So if that intelligence is not there, how can we decide? And what decisions are we making? Decisions we are making on the basis of what I like and what I dislike. So that is not the position of a person who is responsible. So in this 1 hour, we will try and maximize this learning. So before we begin this learning, there is a little prayer. You have this sheet with you, which is laminated, because this knowledge is beyond in human intelligence. The knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is beyond the realm of human intelligence, because human intelligence is material. It can only take matter. It can only assimilate matter. But what Krishna gives is spiritual subject matter. So how to access spiritual knowledge from the material mind or the material intelligence? It is through the medium of prayers. It is through the medium of prayers. So through the medium of prayers, we connect with the Supreme Lord. Okay. So try to little be meditative. Try to hear the sound. The sound is spiritual, and it will uplift us to the spiritual platform. And as we connect to the spiritual platform, then this knowledge can enter our heart. Okay? It's something new. You would not have experienced otherwise. You've studied so much all your life, but this knowledge is beyond all the studies. Because this knowledge is the knowledge of the Supreme Absolute Truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay? So let us begin. You can take that sheet. Take it in your hand rather than keeping it on the floor. Take it in your hand. It is written in English, so you can all, read and just hear the sound. Even if you are not able to pronounce, no problem. Try to hear. Om Ajnana-Timirandhasya Jnananjana-Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Pad Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavancha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagan Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayavacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine. Hare Krishna. So nothing, secretive. We will discuss from the timeless teachings of Bhagavad Gita. So far we have covered the first 6 chapters. Bhagavad Gita, is one book which is very miraculous. Why this book is so miraculous? Because in this one book alone, it contains all that is required to be known in human form of life. It's such an amazing creation. This one single book alone seems to be a medium-sized book, not very bulky. You would have studied much more bulkier books than this. This book is so amazing and so miraculous that whatever we need to know to perfect this human form of life is all contained within this one book. And it expands unlimitedly. Although it has just 700 verses, but the understanding and the application of these verses, it may be a project of lifetime. So we have discussed so far the first 6 chapters. It is presented in 18 chapters. Although, as you know, this Bhagavad Gita was spoken on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. In a very, very alarming situation when there was one of the biggest war of human race. There has never been a war of the size of Mahabharata. And when the two armies were arrayed and the war was just about to begin, even the conch shells were blown. So at that time, Arjuna showed some signals of despondency. He was not willing to fight. And then Krishna gave him prerna, inspiration. How? By speaking Bhagavad Gita. And this is such knowledge that Krishna spoke, that he has spoken not only to remove it, just remove it, the ignorance of Arjuna, but to remove the ignorance of everyone, whoever comes in this human form of life. So all are ignorance. So how can we remove ignorance? By receiving knowledge. How do you remove darkness? By light. How do you remove ignorance? By knowledge. So Krishna gave such knowledge, such inconceivable knowledge in the form of Bhagavad Gita, that for the human race, for the time eternal to come, can find all solutions of each and every individual in whatever sphere of life he may be, perfectly in Bhagavad Gita. So that is the purity and power of Bhagavad Gita. It's such an amazing book. You ask any question related to anyone in any sphere of life, surprisingly and miraculously you will find exactly it is mentioned here. Why? Because Krishna is the creator. He is the creator. And he knows, the creator knows about his creation, isn't it? Like if you have to use a mobile phone, with the mobile phone, you get some, manual, or now you don't get a manual, you get a tutorial, how to use it. You get a tutorial. If you go through the tutorial, then it is very easy for you to utilize the full features. Normally, how much do we utilize the phone? Hardly little. Very few features we know. Most of it is not unknown to us. So similarly, all facets of human life is described and detailed in Bhagavad Gita. So this is such an amazing book. And Vyasadeva, the writer, because he knew that people coming in the age of Kali, their intelligence, you tell in time to class. Intelligence will be very, very dull. As technology will take over, the repercussion of technology will be that the human intelligence is going to become dull and even more dull. Almost coming to the stage of being dead. So he very compassionately, he gave it. Krishna did not tell Arjuna that to make notes. I am speaking and you record. Like today, what we do, we use a mobile phone to record everything. Why? Because our memory is not sharp. We are very forgetful. Very difficult to memorize. 2 days back, what you were doing at this time, if I may ask you, please give space. Or whenever you find a space, sit. Just sit and hear. Bhagavad Gita is supposed to be heard. If it is properly heard and then studied, it could be understood. And if it is not heard and the attempt is made to study, very difficult to understand. Why? Because it is beyond the realm of our intelligence. So I'm giving you an understanding, a full feel of what Bhagavad Gita is and how to approach Bhagavad Gita. So because the memory is very weak, the intelligence is not sharp, and lifespan is also less in the age of Kali, in the age of technology. So it's a myth that we say we are advancing. Actually, if you see, the characteristic of a person and his qualities are diminishing. And it will continue. As this age of Kali will progress, everything, the lifespan will diminish, the intelligence will diminish, and the patience and tolerance. Now people are so impatient and so intolerant. Previously, were there not winters? In January, there used to be 20 degree. In 50 years back, it used to be the same temperature. It used to be same 1 or 2. And was it not, in summers in June and July, was it 20 degree? It was same 45 and 46. But their body and mind had the quality of tolerance. They could tolerate. But now this generation cannot tolerate. One of our teacher was saying that there were not so many heart failures or heart attacks previously. If you go down 100 years or 50 years, there was nothing. Why? Because the heart was strong. Now what the heart is? Very weak. People go into depression very easily. Why? Because their mental state is very weak. That is what the song he was saying. Bhajahu re manashi nandanandan, abhay charnaro. The teaching to the mind that you become fearless. Why? Because the mind is always in anxiety. There are so many insecurity, that so many thoughts of negativity in the mind. Most of the time, what is the mind breeding? Is it breeding positivity or negativity? So how to reverse it? We need to have the help. We need to have the help from someone who is fearless, someone who is free from insecurity. So Arjuna was in anxiety. He was showing the signs of insecurity and he was fearful. So if we see and, if we peep into our mind and if we peep into our heart, we find the same situation what Arjuna was facing. We are also very much in anxiety. We are so much in insecurity. We have so many negative thoughts respect to our career, our family, our friends, so on and so forth. Everyone. So how to get courage? How to be able to take the right decision? So Krishna gave us the best gift. This is the most valuable gift for the human race. That is the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. But like if you have the most valuable diamond, how many are able to buy that? Have you ever seen a crowd in the diamond shop? You go to any diamond shop. Have you ever seen it is crowded? If you go and ask the diamond seller, how many customer came to your shop today? What will be the answer? Sometimes no one. And he'll feel very happy if 1 or 2 even comes. Why? Because people cannot pay value of it. They don't have the value. And if you go to a imitation jewelry shop in Central Market or Janpat, what do you see? So many are crowded there. So similarly, those who are really looking for value in life, those who are willing to pay the price for accepting Bhagavad Gita, they will only become the recipients and beneficiary of Bhagavad Gita. So having said that, so Krishna first spoke about Bhagavad Gita is presented on 5 topics. 5 very relevant topics which relate to us. Most of the time people feel that when I will retire, when there will be nothing in my life left, then let me pick up the copy of Bhagavad Gita. No. Where is Bhagavad Gita to be taught? Bhagavad Gita is to be taught at the age of 5. It should be begin at this age of 5 because that is the age of learning. As you know, you cannot teach an old horse new trick. Can you teach an old horse new trick? No. Same with us. So this is in the youth, in the prime of youth, is the best time to practice spirituality. Why? Because our body is strong, our mind is not so weak, and we are in the learning curve. This is the time where we have the aptitude to learn and grow. So this is the best time. So Krishna talks about 5 subject matters in Bhagavad Gita. The first thing he talks about is the living entity, the Jiva. Who am I? First he addresses in Bhagavad Gita that who am I? If you ask yourself, If I ask you, Prerna, who are you? So what you will say? Sir, I have already told you who am I. My name is Prerna. But actually, are you the name Prerna? Is your identity the name Prerna? Yes or no? Today you are Prerna. Do you have another name? Your father and mother call you by the same name? Then they call you by some other name. Huh? Maybe your grandmother call you by some other name. So you are not the name. Maybe, how is it maybe? You are not the name Prerna. Then I may further ask, then what is your answer? Be relaxed. We are making our mind to open up so that it can grasp the concept. Most of the time we come, but the mind is somewhere else. It is absorbed somewhere else. So how to bring the mind to make it interested so that it can participate. So if I may ask you, then if you are not your name, then who are you? It is very puzzling. It's difficult to answer because we do not have clarity. We don't know who we are. And most of the time what we do, we speculate. But by speculation, we will never come to know who we are. So Krishna speaks on this very important. Most of us are having insecurity because we have identity crisis. We do not know who we are. So Krishna, in the second chapter, he first speaks about the characteristic of soul. That the living entity is not the outer covering. Like today you are wearing the jacket. But in summer, will you wear the jacket? No. So body is the outer covering. And body is constantly changing. So the spirit soul is never changed. And it is eternal. Body is born and it dies. So Krishna gives this knowledge to Arjuna that do not make your decision based on body. Then he further goes and tells that you are also not the mind. And he also tells in the 7th chapter, you are not the intelligence. And also you are not the false ego. Because most of the decisions that we make in life is based on either our mind or inspired by our intelligence or hid by our false ego. So Krishna says these are all material. The body is also material. Body is made of 5 gross matter. Earth, air, water, fire and ether. So these are the gross coverings. And within the gross covering, there are 3 subtle coverings. What is the subtle covering? Mind, intelligence and ego. Can we see the mind? That means the mind does not exist. It exists. But can you show me the proof of mind existing? Can you ask any doctor to show it? Can his MRI or scan detect it? Can the intelligence be, visualized where it is? That means there is no intelligence. So because we do not have the capacity, the gross cannot see the subtle. But its existence is felt. Like, do we see the air? How do we experience air? Feel it. Yeah. So many things we cannot see. But the self is even beyond both. It is beyond between gross and subtle. It is spiritual. And that spirit soul is eternal. Why we have anxiety? Why we have fear? And one devotee was explaining that previously the biggest threat or fear was the fear of death. That is the ultimate. But today, there is another fear of being dead. If the battery of my mobile phone becomes dead. If the battery of my mobile phone become dead, then my life is over. But the death is there. That is the biggest fear. So it is only fear in the heart or fear in the mind because one is not having knowledge and experience. One is lacking this knowledge and experience. So Krishna first gives us the identity that we are not this body. We are not this changing body that takes birth and that dies. We are eternal soul. And the soul is everlasting. And the soul can never be destroyed. It can neither be burned You need something? He wants to come? Please come. Please move ahead. Hari bol. आ जाओ ना आगे आ जाओ. Don't worry, bhaiya. There is no current zone here. There is some spiritual, spark here. If you can catch that very well, you also shift a little ahead. Next time, when it was just here, I am not giving you any, deeper topic. I am just trying to bring our attention and focus to realize in our daily walk of life what is a disconnect, and how deep is the disconnect. We are trying to explore and find so many things outside, not knowing who we are. What a disconnect. What a tragedy. So Krishna first removes this disconnect. And he says that every living entity is my fragmental part. It is not that there is no connection. That every living being is a spirit soul, and every spirit soul has connection with the Supreme Lord. Many times I have said here also before that our connection is not with Darwin. Darwin's ancestor may be from apes and monkeys, but we are not from apes and monkeys. We are coming from the Supreme Lord. Many times, I have said this. If we were coming from apes and monkeys, so now there should not be any monkeys left. In so many thousands and millions of years, all the monkeys would have transformed into humans. Now, where is the possibility of monkey remaining a monkey? Very basic, but we have never questioned. Why? Intelligence is not there. Or there should have been, some would be in process. Half man, half monkey. Have you found any? It's all only speculation. This kind of theory is all speculation. Why? Because they do not know what is the source. So Krishna establishes in Bhagavad Gita that he is the source of everything and everyone. Whatever exists in this material world and whatever exists in the spiritual world. In spiritual world, we have no conception. Anything spirit, we have no conception. We have no assimilation. And it seems to be incomprehensible. Why? Because gross cannot detect spirit. So first, he is bringing us to this spiritual platform to understand that you are not matter, you are spirit soul. And spirit soul is eternal. And his existence is eternal and his relation is also eternal. Why was Arjuna confused? Because he was seeing that his relationship with his grandfather and with his teacher Drona, whom he had so much of love and respect, that if he fights and if he kills, they will die. So Krishna first gave this understanding and knowledge to Arjuna that they will never die. You cannot kill them because they are spirit soul. Rather, they will be liberated. They are in their old bodies. While when the soul leaves this body, he will get a new body. Like if you change your cloth, if your clothes you have been wearing for many years, your t-shirt or your jacket or your lower, whatever, and if you pull up a new, pack of dress, how you feel? You feel rejuvenated. You feel energized. So similarly, the body is transmigrating. So Krishna gave this very important principle that the body is transmigrating. It is ever changing. And then he gives a simple example that like a child is born. How big is the body? Very small. But it grows. But after a certain age, the growth stops. 16, 17, 18, no further growth. Then there is the saturation point. It stays for some time. And then you see Krishna's creation. From one body, another body is born. Man has made so much machines. But from one machine, any machine can be born? No. So, reproduction, the process of continuing. So whatever Krishna has created, it is eternal. And whatever man has created, it is mortal. It has a manufacturing date and it has an expiry date. So Krishna first emphasizes on this aspect of knowledge and he tells Arjuna, so please don't be short-sighted by the existence of body. Think on the level of soul. What is the duty of the soul? is to render service. And because you are in a Kshatriya body, your soul has the Kshatriya spirit. So you should perform the duty of being a Kshatriya. Now, what is the duty of a Kshatriya? Is to protect the dharma, is to protect religion, is to be on the righteousness. Like you are all students, it is called Vidyarthi. What is Vidyarthi means? One who acquires knowledge. If you are all students here, and if you do not study and you do something else, somebody wants to become an actor or somebody wants to become a model and do this and that, then what you are doing? You are not following your dharma. And if you don't follow your dharma, then what will be the result? The result will be that there will be a reaction coming. Why there are so many people suffering in the world today? Why? Because they are not following their dharma. And they think that there is no one to correct them or no one to point out to them, so they can get away with this. No one can get away. No one can get away. The material modes are going to bring back the reaction. So we see in the world today, everyone is feeling insecure. Everyone is in anxiety. Everyone is having frustrations. A person whose mind and heart is suffocated, how can he be happy? Where is the possibility of being happy? He is so lonely. His only mate is what? This mobile. His life, Krishna gives this first very important identity about who we are. And then he gives about this creation, this material nature. How this material nature acts. It acts through the medium of three modes. There are three modes. Everything in this material world is governed by the three modes. These are like the three colors. You know, three colors. What are the three primary colors? What? Red. So from these three colors, how many combinations of colors you can have? Unlimited. Millions. Unlimited. So from these three modes, everything in this world is controlled with the combination of the three modes. So everyone's nature you will find is different. Everyone's intelligence is different. Everyone's memory is different. Even there are two twins, either brothers or sisters, they're not the same. What is the difference? The impact of modes acts differently. So Krishna gives about how this material nature comes into existence, how it works, and how it dissolves. So Krishna gives the entire creation. And then he says that if there is the creation is not without the creator. And who is the creator behind the creation? He declares that it is controlled by me. Everything is perfectly in harmony. You see, everything in nature is perfectly in harmony. You will have day, and then during the day there is the sun, which is at the noon time is prominent. The sun first will rise, and then it will stay for some time, and then it will set. You have seasons. Do the seasons change? Do the cycles of seasons change? That after summer, you have rains, and after rains, you have autumn, and then you have winter, and then you have spring. So everything is in perfect harmony. How it is in perfect harmony? Because there is a controller. So both Jiva and Prakriti are controlled. And who is the controller? Controller is called Ishvara, one who controls. So Krishna speaks about Ishvara, and he discloses that he is the one who is controlling everything. And then he talks about karma, that every living entity in this human form of life, whatever actions they perform, they are entitled to receive reactions according to their actions. So that is the law of karma. So Krishna tells about the law of karma. And then he also talks about the time factor, kala. Everyone in this material existence, whoever comes is under the influence of kal. Can anyone say that he is not under the influence of kal? Everyone is under the influence of kal. It is just a matter of time. that he exists and he will diminish. Anything and everything is under the influence of time. So these are the 5 basic topics for what Krishna has given knowledge. Do you feel you need to have this knowledge? Huh? But then you have to be sincere. Just by saying who, you will not receive this knowledge. Arjuna paid a very heavy price to receive this knowledge. What was the price Arjuna paid? What price Arjuna paid to receive Bhagavad Gita? Oh, that is there. Very good. That's a devotional answer. Sorry? War. हाँ युद्ध हुआ ना, उसको किसे मारना पड़ा? हाँ, he had to kill Drona and Bhishma. Can we pay the price? No. But we can pay the price by regularly hearing. Krishna says that if you regularly hear, then you can receive this knowledge. If you receive this knowledge in coming in parampara, Krishna says in the 4th chapter that how this knowledge is to be received, it is to be received in disciplic succession. If you come in disciplic succession, you can receive this knowledge. How? Because Krishna is empowering. Krishna is bestowing this knowledge in parampara. So we have covered till first 6 chapters. Again and again I have to come because there are online viewers also. So they are studying Bhagavad Gita along with us. We want you also to join in this study group. Actually, this is our study group. This is a study group. And we meet once in a week. Those who are far off, some of them are passed out. Like I gave you the example of one who is in Cuttack, a scientist. Another scientist, Pradeep Prabhu. He is in Bangalore. What is the name of your institute, Pradeep?
GKVK, Prabhu.
Come again.
GKVK.
GKVK.
Yes, Prabhu.
What is the name? GKVK. Okay, he is in Bangalore. Some are in Odisha, everywhere, whatever, wherever they are. Yeah. So we are using the technology not to make us dull, but to remove our dullness. That is the medium of Zoom. So far we have discussed first 10 verses of the 7th chapter. So in the first 6 chapter, Krishna emphasizes on 2 aspects. Is the living entity, who is the Jiva. He gives the identity. And he also speaks about their actions, karma. So it is predominantly called Karma Yoga. And from 7 to 12, that is the middle 6th chapter, Krishna will emphasize upon the living entity's relation with Krishna. And his performance of actions which are imbued with love and affection. And that is called bhakti. In normal course of action that we perform, it brings equal and opposite reaction. The law of karma works. But if we act for Krishna, if we work for Krishna, then those action becomes free from the action. And that is called devotion or bhakti. So how bhakti begins? In the first 3 verses, Krishna explains that bhakti begins by hearing from Krishna. If one hears Krishna, like you have all come here, what are you doing? You are hearing. Shravanam. It is called Shravanam. The most effective way for all of us to grow and develop knowledge is how? Through the process of hearing. So Krishna glorifies and he says that this knowledge can be received by the process of hearing. And he says the knowledge that I am going to impart to you, Arjuna, this knowledge is the most complete knowledge. And this is not just the knowledge in terms of information, but this is the knowledge in terms of application. So he says, Jnanam teham savijnanam. So I'll not only give you the knowledge, but I'll also give you the application of this knowledge. When you apply this, then you can have realizations. That is Vijnana. And he says that after receiving this knowledge, after attaining this knowledge, there is nothing in this world else remaining to be known. See, this is what I was explaining. What a miraculous book. That if you are able to assimilate the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, in this entire world, you will be the most knowledgeable person. No one can compare with you or compete with you. Yad gyatva na bhuyo anyat gyatavyam avashishyate. Read the translation of the second verse quickly. 7.2. I am giving you both the numinous and the phenomenal knowledge. 7.2. You don't have a book in your hand? Why don't you read? Why are you wasting time?
I shall now declare unto you in full this knowledge.
Yeah, so Krishna is saying how he will declare in full. So this is where there is completeness of knowledge. Everywhere else, the knowledge is what? Incomplete. This is the most complete knowledge.
Both phenomenal and numinous.
Yeah, phenomenal means of this material world, and numinous means of which is beyond matter. That is the spiritual knowledge.
This being known, nothing further shall remain for you to know.
But the problem with us is that even after knowing what we are doing, what we are going to do, we are going to be chasers of incompleteness and leaving the complete. So that is why Prabhupada says in the introduction, if you see, that all problems appear because of incomplete knowledge of the complete. All the problems in this life that we experience are due to incomplete knowledge of the complete. When the complete Supreme is giving the complete knowledge in this book, Bhagavad Gita, which is complete, still we will not take Bhagavad Gita seriously and we will try to find knowledge this way. Then who is to be blamed? And who is to be targeted? Ourselves. Why? Because in Kali Yuga we have two symptoms. Our intelligence is dull. Very dull. Very, very dull. We cannot take the right decision. So, for Arjuna to take the right decision, Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita. And he says, such persons who will understand Bhagavad Gita, they will be very rare. The third verse is that, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yadati siddhaya. Most of the people will not endeavor for perfection. Most of the people will not thrive for attaining completeness in life. And such persons will be very, very rare. Then Krishna explains what he said, that I will give you both the phenomenal and the numinous knowledge. So he talks about the phenomenal world, how this material world is created. It is by these 8 separated energies. What are the 8 separated energies? Earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Everything that you see manifest. Manifest means that you can see, that you can connect or relate with, is a combination of these 5 gross subtle. And how these 5 gross elements are put into action are the 3 subtle elements. What are the 3 subtle elements? Mind, intelligence, and false ego. And he says that all these 8 elements, they are coming from me through my material nature or my material creation, but they are separated. Bhinna prakriti rashtra. And beyond these 8 gross elements, which are the material element, there is a spiritual element. And because of the combination of spirit, matter becomes active. Like the book is there. What is book? It is material. Can the book on itself have any action? As soon as a person touches the book and opens it, the book becomes active. You have seen the toy, some child play, na? There is a battery operated toy in which if you switch on the button, there is a bear which will beat the drum. You see? And the child feels that it is happening on its own. It is happening on its own. Where is the source of power? Battery. So matter in itself is dead, is dull, and it is dead. It is when it comes in contact with the spirit, it becomes active. So Krishna gives this principle, that beyond matter, there is the spirit soul. The 6th verse. What is the 6th verse? Lead the transition quickly. You should be knowing. You are not knowing these verses. Before coming, you should revise.
All created beings have their source in these 2 natures.
Okay. You read the first one before this. Fifth one.
Beside this, O mighty armed Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mind, which comprises the living entity.
Yeah. So living entity is C. Living entity is superior. And matter is inferior. Matter comprised of 5 gross elements. Pata rahega na? That you won't forget now. It is all dull. It is all dead. And it comes into action because of it coming into contact with spirit. That is the difference between a person who is dead and alive also. Medical science has no answer. What is the difference between a living person and a dead person? That the spirit soul leaves the body, and as soon as the spirit soul leaves the body becomes dead. But has medical science ever been able to detect what is the living force? It will never be able to detect. Never ever. Because it is not possible. The gross cannot perceive the subtle. So Krishna is explaining it. So how do we know about the soul? How do we know about the life force? Through this teachings of Bhagavad Gita. Then nowhere else you will find this comprehension of understanding of spirit soul. So he says that beyond this 8 element, there is spirit soul which is superior, and these are the living entities. And everything which is created in this material world is a combination of both. Combination of matter and spirit. Okay. And then he says that because everything is coming from me, both matter and spirit, the source is me. So how to be able to see in matter the presence of the Supreme Lord? Then he gives 14 examples which we are discussing. Like we say, na, the Supreme Lord is omnipresent. Omnipresent means he is everywhere. So how to be able to see him? When we cannot see ourselves, how can we see him? Then he gives us this vision. He gives us this knowledge. How to be able to see his existence in his creation. We can see the creator by his creation. You have seen, na? If a son comes and meets a person, through the son, one can know of the father and mother both. Because the son is a representative, or he is the energy of the father and mother. Isn't it? Many times it happens. Like I remember when somebody wanted my father to join his company. My father said, no, I cannot join, but I can ask my son to join you. And he was happy. He said, okay, we will accept that. Why? Because the son is the representative. Sun is what? He is an extension, or he is an expansion, or he is an energy of the person. So similarly, Krishna says that everything that is created by me in this material nature comes from me. So how to be able to see Krishna in this material existence? Then he gives the first example of, I am the taste of water. Everybody has to intake water. Can anybody live without water? No, you cannot survive. You cannot maintain the body without water. At least we need a lot of water because we take at least 2 to 3 times bath. So how we will take bath if there is no water? Even how we will digest, how we will survive. Everyone requires water. So he says that the quenching, the thirst quenching ability in the water is me. Rasoham apsu kaunteya. And then he says everyone sees the sun and the moon. And what is so spectacular about the sun and the moon? The effulgence, the light that it radiates or emanates. So he said that heat and light which is emanating from the sun comes from me. So in this way, there are 14 examples given by Krishna. So far we have covered the first 10. What is the time? I'll at least take one verse. It is 8:46. I'll be able to take 2 at least. So quickly, so far he has talked about examples. So in normal course of life, how we can connect with Krishna? When we drink water, we can remember Krishna. Why? Because the thirst which is being quenched, where are we getting water from? Are we producing water on our own? We have set up a RO plant. But even from RO plant, we cannot produce water. We can only filter water. So the water is created by the Supreme Lord, and the creation and also the active principle in creation. What is the most active principle in water? That it satisfies our thirst. If you drink sea water, you cannot satisfy your thirst. If the water is not pure, if the water is not clean, it will not satisfy your thirst. So that purity in water, that taste that is coming in water, is coming from the Supreme Lord. So in this way, he says that we can seek the presence of the Supreme Lord in his entire creation. And there is nothing in this material world which can compare with him. And his existence is subtle, it is hidden. So he gives the example of like you see a garland or you see a necklace. So the thread which holds the pearls or the thread which holds the flowers on the garland. Can you see the thread? But we see what a beautiful garland. But what is the foundation of the garland? The thread. So similarly, he is the source, he is the cause, he is the foundation, he is the root. But he is not directly visible. So how to perceive him? So he gives this 14 ways to see. So we will take the 11th verse today. 11th verse. You hear the verse and then you can repeat after me. You are on the same page with me. 335 is my book page. What is your number? All of you? Having the English version? Ankit, आपके पास है पुस्तक? You have the book? Okay. Balam balvatam chaham
बलवन्तं चाहं
kamaraga vivarjitam
कामरागविवर्जितं
dharma viruddho bhuteshu
धर्मविरुद्धो भूतेषु
kamosmi bharatrishabha.
कामोऽस्मि भरतर्षभ.
One more time. Balam balvatam chaham
बलं बलवतां चाहं
kamaraga vivarjitam
कामरागविवर्जितं
dharma viruddho bhuteshu
धर्मविरुद्धो भूतेषु
kamosmi bharatrishabha.
कामोऽस्मि भरतर्षभ.
So here he is talking about the two of his features or qualities in this verse. The first he says is that balam balvatam chaham, that I am the strength of those who are strong. That means he is the factor behind anyone having any power or potency. But what kind of power or potency? That he clarifies. Not negative or not demoniac. That is devoid of kama and raga. Kama means desire, lusty desires. So what we see? Anyone who has power in this material world, what he uses his power for? His personal use, for his personal sense gratification. And what it turns out to be? It turns out to be exploitation and abuse. That is, we have seen the history. Whoever had any power, what he did with that power? He exploited and harassed others. But Krishna is saying not that power, not that kind of power. Which kind of power? Which is kama raga vivarjita. Vivarjita means which is without, devoid. So that potency or that power or that ability or that strength, which is devoid of both kama. Kama means lusty desires, desire to enjoy or desire to exploit. And raga means attachment. So in this world, everything is moving because of two aspects. What is that? Kama and raga. Attachment and desires, or attachment and aversions. So that means this strength or the power which is being used is not for sense gratification or self-aggrandizement. It is for the welfare of others. So that ability the person has, that ability which Krishna bestows, so that he can use that power or position to do welfare of others. Because he is devoid of kama, he has no personal agenda. On his own, he will not utilize that power. It is not for his own purpose. It is for the purpose of giving benefit to others. Because he is free from both desire and attachment. Understood? That means what? The person is pure. And his actions are also pure. So, who is a pure person, he uses that strength or that ability Krishna gives. Like we see our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada at the age of 70 years. He could establish Krishna consciousness all over the world. All over the world. He was such a powerful preacher. Wherever he went, he converted the people's heart to accept the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. How? By his purity. By his genuine desire to give welfare to them. And then Krishna speaks very revolutionary on the next line. He says, Dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamo asmi bharadrishabha. You see, in the first line, Krishna is condemning kama. Is kama raga vivarjita. That I am that strength or that power which is devoid of kama and raga. But in the next line, he says, Dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamo asmi bharadrishabha. So the main important aspect is calm. But what kind of calm or desire? That is not contrary to dharma. Dharma viruddho bhuteshu. So amongst all the living entities, that desire which is not contrary against the dharma, that desire, Krishna says, I am. And what is that desire? That is the sex desire. We will explain. We will try to discuss this. So read the translation. One of you can read the translation. All of you have the book? We have.
The strong man's strength should be applied to
No, I am the strength of the strong.
the strength of the strong.
Where is your mic? Mic, man? What is the mic for?
I am the strength of the strong, devoid of passion and desire. I am sex life which is not contrary to religious principles. O Lord of the Bharatas,
Arjuna. So he is addressing Arjuna as Bharat Rishabha. Rishabha means that who is the best. So first thing we discussed that the strong man's strength should be applied to protect the weak, not for personal aggression. That we see the practical demonstration also. What were the Kauravas using the strength for? The Kauravas, what were they using their strength for? What were they utilizing the power of Bhishma and Drona for? For the welfare? No. For their personal aggression. No, don't kill them. Don't kill them. Can we inject life in anyone? So do we have the right to take away anyone's life? The reaction will come. Other life, you have to become a mosquito. And the mosquito will get an opportunity to kill you or crush you. That is the law of karma. No one can change it. No one can change it. Our founder Acharya, he gave this Bhagavad Gita edition in 1960. And he gave that in future there will be such instances when human race will find no solution. Because they are killing so many animals. And the reaction will come. And what was one reaction was COVID. What was killing? One bacteria, one germ was killing. How many humans died? Millions across the planet. So very important, yeah. That strong man's strength should be applied to protect the weak, not for personal aggression. So Krishna is inspiring Arjuna. Why Arjuna is fighting? Not for acquiring the land, or for acquiring the kingdom, or for acquiring the power. He wanted Yudhishthir, Maharaj Yudhishthir to be the king. Why? Because Yudhishthir Maharaj is Dharmaraj. So always the administrator, the king, or the having this quality. What quality? The should be for propagation of children, not otherwise. So Krishna says that I am the sex life. What kind of sex life? Which is for having children who will follow him. You see, in the third chapter also Krishna has already condemned what he said, that Mahashanno Mahapapma Vaidhi Inam Hi Vedinam Kamesha Rodesha Rajoguna Samudbhava Mahashanno Mahapapma Varianam hi varianam. So he is condemned the lust. But lust which is for personal enjoyment or for harassment. So Krishna is saying that sex life which allows the continuation of progeny. You understand progeny? All of you understand progeny? Continuation of the race. So how the continuity will be there if there is no sex life? But what kind of sex life? It has to be within the framework of religion. So what is the sex life within religion? That a man and a woman gets into the institution of marriage. Sex life is allowed only within the institution of marriage. And what is the purpose of sex life? Is to have children. Now you see what is happening in today's life, in today's world. What kind of life they are having? Are they having according to religious dharma? So our founder Acharya said that the human society has gone to cats and dogs. You know, cats and dogs, animal life. Do they have any institution of marriage? There is no marriage. And the boys and girls, they are thinking that if they don't marry, they are becoming advanced. Yes, they are becoming advanced, like becoming a cat and dog. Cat and dog, there is no institution of marriage. They can have sex freely. A dog can have freely sex in the street. हाँ? सुनाई नहीं दे रहा? अच्छा माइक यूज करते हैं? हरे कृष्णा माइक ऑन नहीं है क्या? हरे कृष्णा अभी सुनाई दे रहा? So here Krishna is emphasizing that although in Bhagavad Gita majorly Krishna has been criticizing lust, but lust which is used for personal sense gratification. But here Krishna is recommending that he is that sex life which is not contrary to religious principles. So that means majorly, and not majorly, but preeminently, the sex life is utilized for which is contrary to religion. People break the religious principle. So one of the religious principles that we have, that we are made to follow, is that no illicit sex. You know what is illicit sex? Illicit sex is any sex which is outside marriage. And even if you go deeper, any sex which is within marriage also, but not for creation. So what humans have done? They have invented so many, what is it called? There is no child. They can have sex, but there will not be any child. What is it called? Contraceptives. Contraceptives. This is all demonic. This is all demonic. What is the result of it? You know, in Europe, there are many countries where they are having very serious problems. You know what is the serious problem? Their growth rate is negative. Their ladies are not able to produce babies. Because the institution of marriage has become so weak, so the government gives incentives that if a lady becomes a mother. Many countries in Europe, they give special incentive. A lot of aid is given from the government. Why? Because there is no legitimate father. Yeah. So what kind of life is that? Hellish life, irreligious life. So here Prabhupada says that similarly, sex life according to religious principles, dharma, should be for the propagation of children, not otherwise. Even if you see the animal life, if in the animal life also, if the female and the male mates, what is the natural outcome? They have child. Do they use contraceptives? But see the degradation of human race has even gone below that level. The responsibility of parents is then to make their offspring Krishna conscious. It is a great responsibility to have a child. And why the modern generation is not having the child? Because they don't want to take the responsibility. They are so irresponsible. The responsibility lies on the mother and father to train the child to become on the path of religion, religious person, to make him become God conscious, to make him become Krishna conscious. Prabhupada said that serving a child is more important than serving the deities. You cannot neglect the child. But not that you bring the child, and you see today's scenario, what kind of children people are having. But they don't want to have children. Most of the people, I'm talking about global scenario, don't want to have children. Why? Because they don't want to have first marriage. Very few are inclined to get married. You see what is the divorce rate today? What is the divorce rate? Alarmingly very high, even in India. Why? Because all this sex life is dharma viruddha. So the reaction will come. And maybe if they are willing and they come together and they have a child, so what kind of child they are having? What kind of child are these days coming? Very, very disobedient. Very disobedient child. Why? Because dharma is not there. Rebellious child. So Krishna is giving this principle here that anyone who has any strength, and if that strength is being used for the welfare of others, so I am the one who is providing him or bestowing him that strength. So in this way, Krishna gives the 14 active principles to be able to see that his presence is there everywhere. Like we are sitting here inside this campus, having discussion on Bhagavad Gita. But with this campus is governed by whom? By the administrator. What do you say? Director. There's a director here, and with the director, he has a full administrative setup or a team. When I came in, there was a watchman outside. He screens everyone who is coming, who is leaving. Then there is a security at the main gate also. They are also screening who is coming, who is going. So all this security, all these personnel, they are working under the administration of the director. And the director has with him the security staff. You might be having. There must be a security team or department here. And the director is also reporting to someone. Maybe the agriculture secretary or whoever. An agriculture secretary is reporting to whom? Agriculture ministry. And the minister is reporting to whom? Prime Minister. So the entire administration is under the governance of the Prime Minister. But is the Prime Minister present here? So how he is administering everything? Through his extensions, through his energies. So this is the principle which Krishna is giving here, to be able to see the presence of the Supreme Lord through his creation. He has made his creation, and the active principle in his creation is because of his empowerment, his enabling. So then in the 12th verse, he says that whatever you see in this material world, or even whatever example he has given, these 14 examples from verse 8 to 11, he says all of it is functioning because of the three modes. See the word? Ye chev satvika bhava rajasas tamasascha ye
Rajasastamasasya
matta eveti tan vidhi
Matayave Titan Vidhi
natvaham teshu te mahi.
Natvaham Tesu Temai
One more time, yeah. Ye chaiva satvika bhava
Ejaiva Satvika Bhava
rajasas tamasascha ye
Rajasastamasasya
matta eveti tan vidhi
Matayave Titan Vidhi
natvaham teshu te mahi.
Natvaham Tesu Temai
Did you read the translation? That is in bold, no?
Look at all states of being, be they of goodness, passion, or ignorance, are manifested by my worship. I am, in one sense, everything, but I am independent. I am not under the laws of material nature, for they, on the contrary, are within me.
Yeah. So Krishna clarifies. Thank you. So Krishna confirms that whatever I have explained to you so far, in terms of his energies, his extension, they are all governed within the three modes. And what are the three modes? Sattvika, Rajasas, and Tamasas. These are three modes. So everything is manifested from these three modes. And these three modes are manifested by Krishna's energy. So he says everything in one sense is in me. Why? Because he is the source, he is the root, he is the foundation. But he says, although everything is coming from me, but I am not in them. How to understand this? I'll give you one example. One simple example. Like you are studying here in the IERI campus. So there are certain rules and regulations which every student has to follow, isn't it? But the rules and regulations which the students have to follow, teachers are not supposed to follow them. Isn't that the same for the teachers? No. Give you another example to understand. And if you go into a prison house, a jail, where all the prisoners are supposed to follow the certain rules and regulations. But the superintendent of prison, does he have to follow that? Same Krishna is explaining that the creation is under the jurisdiction of the creator. But the creator is not within the creation. Understand? We are all creation. We are all created. But Krishna is not like us. He is not one of us. He is the creator. Okay? Got this concept? So now we'll further elaborate. So Prabhupada says that all material activities in the world are being conducted under the three modes of material nature. So like I said, that three colors, the three basic colors, and from three basic colors, everything else manifests. So many colors you can have. You can have millions of colors. Although these material modes of nature are emanations from the Supreme Lord Krishna, he is not subject to them. Because he has created them. He is not within them. For instance, under the state law, one may be punished by the king, the lawmaker. He is not subject to that law. Okay? Similarly, all the modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance are emanations from the Supreme Lord Krishna, but Krishna is not subject to material nature. Therefore, he is Nirguna. Guna means these three modes. And Guna also means ropes. Ropes. So everyone is bound in this material world by these three ropes. What are the three ropes? Goodness, passion, and ignorance. But the Supreme Lord is not one of us. He is the master of the three modes. So the modes cannot bind him. So he is beyond the reach of the modes. Which means all these gunas or modes, although issuing from him, do not affect him. That is one of the special characteristics of Bhagavan or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay. Should I take one more? And next time I'll take the next verse. No. This is 10 minutes past 9. Time is over. Okay. So today what we learned from this section, Krishna is saying that we should use our strength, whatever ability we have, whatever power that we have. Why? To do service. And we should not utilize that strength for kama and raga. Not for our personal mortification or personal sense of enjoyment or personal motivations. We should use it for the welfare of others. If we do that, then we are following the principle of Bhagavad Gita. And then he says that Krishna is not denying sex life in one's life. When many times the students say, Prabhuji, हम आप जैसे तो नहीं बन सकते. जरूरत नहीं है. There is no need. You remain where you are. But what do? You just connect and follow. You can be in a marriage life. Like he is here, Dolamani Amma. He has his wife, he has his kid. But this sex life is to be utilized for having good children. If mother and father takes responsibility of the children, and if we have the generation which is cultured, which is following the dharma, then this world will become heaven. It will become Swarga. And it is becoming hell. You see? Everyone is saying there is World War III. It has already started. So many wars are happening in so many places. Everywhere there is war. Even there is so much of disturbance in our neighbor. They are not allowing the peaceful people to stay. There is so much of provocation and so much of exploitation. Why? Because no one is following the path of. So Bhagavad Gita gives us this lesson, this inspiration, this learning to follow the path of Dharma. If we follow the path of Dharma, Dharma will protect us. And we can remain happy even in this world. Okay? So to some extent I discussed. I just introduced some topics to you. So if you continue to come, we can go at a deeper detail and length. Okay? So my request to you is, at least you in your life, don't succumb to animalistic propensities. You understand? We may all have animalistic propensities, but this life is not meant to become an animal. This life is meant to become human. You have heard, no? People, many years back, I was saying, many youngsters were having a t-shirt written being human.
Hmm.
So what is the detail? What is the meaning of being human? Here Krishna is giving here. Don't become an animal. Don't become a free enjoyer of sex. That is animal. There are many animals who have this capacity. They can have sex many times in the day. But that is not for the human race. Human race means become responsible. Okay? So if you have any question or doubt, please ask. Please ask freely. To what extent I know, I will share with you. Hare Krishna. Next time we will continue forward. No one has any question? Everything understood? If you have no question, that means there are only two possibilities. That everything is perfectly understood or nothing is at all understood. So which scenario? I will not speculate. Which scenario should I, accept? You have a question? Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, from the strength of the strong, how do we relate to the Supreme Lord? I mean,
That is what it said.
I am expanding with
It
this
is-
energy,
it is-
but how do we connect with this strength and success like?
That strength which is devoid of kama and raga. That strength which is being used for protection of dharma, for welfare of others. Like, I'll give you some example. Have you heard about Mother Teresa? Why? She spent her life in welfare of others. You see the life of Srila Prabhupada? He was such a powerful incarnation that he spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. So how that ability came? How that strength came?
Empowering.
Empowerment. Krishna. So that extraordinary empowerment, he will say in the 10th chapter, Yad vibhuti mat satsvam, Shima Murjitam Evava, Tat Eva Vigachatva, Am Eko Amta Sambhava, 10.42. Forty-one. 10.41. Page number 486. Know that all opulent, beautiful and glorious creations spring but a spark of my splendor. Any glorious or beautiful existence should be understood to be but a fragmental manifestation of Krishna's opulence. Whether be it in the spiritual or material world, anything extraordinary, opulent should be considered to represent Krishna's opulence. But it requires practice, it requires purity. If we have our heart which is filled with raga and kama, then it is difficult. Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna could accept it. Duryodhana was also hearing. He could not accept it. So we have to stop becoming Duryodhana and start becoming Arjuna. Yeah.
Krishna, how can we
Speak on the mic, they can hear. It is on.
how can we be free from karma and raga?
Okay, very good. How can we be free from kama and raga? Very good. See, normally all decisions, that is what I began with, that all decisions that we take is based on our kama and raga. I will do what I like. But that is animal life. Human life is the life of discipline and distinguished conduct. So, in human life, you have rules and it's little difficult for us. What is the difficulty? Difficulty is because it is not to our liking. On the mental platform, we perform all actions. Please hear. Why? Hearing. If you, then all others also will be becoming. Please hear. Very important question she has asked. This is the sign of someone who's actually trying
and terminate one line and stop it. So those who are cutting the throat of others, the poor helpless animals and eating, and they are enjoying food. How can they experience happiness? Their life is full of sin, and sinful reaction will come in their life. I give you the example of COVID. What is COVID? Those helpless animals, they have become what? Bacteria. Virus. You try the scientific community. Again and again it will come. Newer and newer. What you will do? Well, this thing is done. Stop. Go be strong. With the time,
नो नो प्रभु जी इट्स लाइव प्रभु जी आपका इंटरनेट खत्म हो गया
maybe.
दे आर लिसनिंग प्रभु जी They are
Okay,
hearing.
fine. There is. So most important is to follow the four principle. First is daya. To have mercy. That's it. If you have power, what are we using the power for? For killing. And enjoying our tongue and our feeling. So that should be stopped. That is first. Then second is satya. A person who is religious, who is following dharma, he cannot lie. He cannot be a cheater or a manipulator. So what is the prohibition for satya? No gambling. Today's world, there are so many games. Entire generation, they will not know what they are thinking. Just by single stroke of luck, they will get money. Can they get money? They will only eat. Gambling means avoiding the hard work and trying to get money by some cheating. Those who are trying to get money, they will lose everything. No gambler has ever been successful. They have now so many other variants of gambling. There is online, card play is there, some Ludo is there, so many. Stock market is what? What do we do in stock market? Only speculation, only manipulation. So all these things, better is to be a genuine person. Even if you earn less, if it is on the right, the dharmic way, it will suffice. So no manipulation, no gambling, no cheating. Very important. A person who is cheating, when he speaks the truth, he will always hide. That is Satya. And third is short. Short means purity of things. So the prohibition is no illicit. You see today, rampant illicit. The new generation is completely immersed in this. And what is the result? You see divorces. They cannot go around. No to husband and wife. They do not know what is the sanctity of the relationship of husband and wife. Because they have become animals. Live in and live out. And what is the fourth? Yeah, Satya, Shaucha, and Tapasya. Tapa. Human life is a life of regulation and life of restraint. It requires tapasya. For tapasya, what is the principle? No intoxication. No intoxication. See today's generation addicted. Many places are addicted. You will be knowing, I don't know. Your hostels, how many smoke or drink. Rampant. And they are thinking they become advanced. Advanced of what? Being an animal. That is the dullness of the intelligence. You have no intelligence. These four things that you follow. Why they cannot understand Bhagavad Gita? Because they are not of the animal, they are not of the human consciousness. See what Krishna is speaking. So if you follow these four principles, then we can come to the consciousness of being human. And human intelligence or mind can understand this consciousness. That is, apply this. Very simple, you eat sattvic food. There is no meeting. Don't take even onion and garlic, just outside. There is no question of eating. You offer to Krishna. And Krishna gives the assurance in Bhagavad Gita that whatever is offered to Krishna, whatever is the sinful reaction, he takes active. And he gives his mercy. And there should be some tapasya. What is the tapasya? That not to become self-satisfied. Then third is some austerity. What is the austerity? Be disciplined in life. We should wake up early in the morning, perform devotional service, and we should abstain from all kind of intoxicants. We will not take tea and coffee. There is no need. How are we less than others? Do you find any deficiency? No? You have so much energy, right from 3:30 in the morning till 11 in the night, every day, year after year. Any one of you come and stay with me for 2-3 days. You went to the yatra? You went, huh? What time was the wake up time?
2:30.
No, you were not waking up 2:30. I didn't wake you wake up 2:30.
रूम में बहुत सारे लोग हैं ना तैयार
That was the enthusiasm. Did you feel tired? Did you feel sleepy? Can you do it here? Is it possible even one day? Wake up at 2:30 and you see entire day you get drowsy. So that is because the life will be utilized in a for spiritual. So that is the power. See, we have so much of opportunity to be empowered. Krishna is willing to empower, but we should be accepting his advice. If we accept his advice, he will empower each and every one of us. And we can do wonders. Each one of us can perform extraordinary things, like Arjuna. So through the process of Bhagavad Gita is empowering each and every one. Like the sun shines. When the sun shines, there is opportunity for every piece of land to yield the best. But does it happen? Is the sun responsible? Who is responsible? The owner of the plot. If we have not made the soil fertile, if we have not put the right seed, if we have not put the right irrigation, even if the sun shines at the best, nothing. So it depends on us how we are utilizing it. Human life is a life of discipline and responsibility. Animal life, there is no discipline and there is no responsibility. Coming into this human form of life, we behave like animals. That's what we are going to be. Animals. This time will lecture, next time will be animals. Animals can have sex and they speak. No one is going to guess. So this is the awakening, this is a call to wake up. And don't remain blind as the world is blinded. Completely blindness. Okay, very late. Thank you very much. I won't stretch it any further. Thank you all for coming. And I hope it serves you. It will inspire you, give you some pressure to leave the light with Krishna. And then Krishna will assure us that whoever leaves the light the way Krishna is suggesting, he says, I personally take care. And personally guarantee you that you will not suffer. Can anyone give that assurance? Can the Prime Minister give us the assurance? Can our parents give us the assurance? Can our teachers give us the assurance? Who can give us the assurance? Krishna has assurance. Okay, thank you all very much. So we are distributing Bhagavad Gita. This Bhagavad Gita is marathon is happening. So my request is all of you please have at least one copy for yourself. And at least whoever you consider your best friend or whom you want to do some service. So please, pass on the copy. Okay. Thank you very much. Next Saturday I'll be coming again. So I invite you all to come. And if you want to come, we have a very beautiful temple here. How many of you have been there? I don't think many of you. Few of you. None of you? So any Sunday you can come, you plan, and you come all together. If you have a big group, I can give you a bus. If you are 50. You plan, that initiative you have to take. You will have a very good time. We will show you the temple and we'll give you very tasty prasadam. You have been practicing. I observed you were reciting the prayer. You have been practicing. You have been practicing Krishna consciousness. You were reciting the prayer. How do you practice? No, never mind. You are practicing. Acha, you give that with your mother. She is practicing. She taught. You will continue. Okay. Thank you all very much. All glories to Bhagavad Gita. All glories to